At this time of year, our thoughts are turning towards Halloween. So we're going to look at some Halloween things this week. We're going to be doing our autumn garland in the next few weeks, but I'm just going to show you 3 different crafts today which will allow you to Halloween it up if you like. So we have some spider webs here, complete with spider or without. We have some giant scary spiders. Those ones are freaking me out a little bit. And we have something a little bit less freaky with our lovely Pom Pom cat. All of which could be added to a window decoration or could be added to your garland. I will show you what you need for your cat first of all. That's what we're going to do. So you need some paper to draw your background on. And I've chosen black paper because of the Halloween thing. If you were wanting to make this cat at another time of year, you can theme your paper, a ginger cat or a black cat or a white cat or whatever you like. But today we're going to use black. Now we need something circular to draw around. So I think it's important that we get a jam jar lid. Haha, the coaster's too big. So this time we're going to get a jam jar lid. We also need another circle that's slightly smaller underneath, so that we're doing that, and another circle that's going to go in the side. So I have done the lid like that, the candles on top there, and you need to draw around those with a pencil. Draw around those. You're then going to use the smaller circle on the inside to cut that out. So obviously for cutting out and for drawing we're going to need scissors, we're going to need a pencil, we're going to need some black wool. Now the black wool can be as cheap as you like. I've got a thick one which makes a nice one. You don't need your fancy merino alpaca spun by fairies wool for this one. Just a cheap wool is absolutely fine. But you do need your absolutely fantastic, that we've mentioned before, big-eyed needle. Don't spend hours trying to poke it into a small one. Invest in a nice big-eyed needle. So that's what we need. So laying it down like that, we're going to cut out around there, and you will end up with this. Now I've free-handed a couple of ears on the top of it, and the centre just needs to be empty like that. Now I'm not going to give you measurements because it really doesn't matter. It depends on the size of your cat as to where you're going to get it. Just choose something circular that you have to draw around, a smaller one on top, but you need 2 of them. 2 exactly the same. To cut the inside there, you need to, I used sharp scissors, not these ones, embroidery scissors, and snipped in. Cutting in side shapes I did mention in a really early video, so you could go back to that if you need some help. Now the paper I have used is thin card. Okay, so you can see that we're still bending a little bit like that. It's going to hold its shape while it's up, so that A4 photocopy paper is not going to do it. You need something a bit thicker, thin card. If you can be bothered to cut through some thicker card, it'll be harder, but it will still work. But you need 2 exactly the same way. And then we're just going to make a traditional pom-pom. Now, whenever I look at pom-pom things, they always say, and now just wind the wool round. Right, okay, so how exactly am I getting this inside this? How's that going to fit in there? It isn't, is it? So sometimes they give you a smaller section of wool. Will that go in? No, it won't. And this is how you do it. You cut out a long piece of wool, the longest that you can be bothered with without it getting tied up. Okay, you put it in your nice big-eyed needle and pull it through. If you're feeling lazy, you can double it, but it sometimes knots up a little bit when you do that. And then you're going to put this on here. Now, I'm just going to have to show you this against the white one for you to see it, because it is actually going on black, but you're not going to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to pause there and then show you it on the white. So I'm just going to demonstrate with a white one, but you're going to be using your black one just so you can see the contrast. So you get your 2 and you put them right next to each other so they're sitting the same way. And then you get the other end of your wool, not the needle end, but the other end, and just rest it on there. It doesn't actually matter where you start, but I kind of think if you start at the top, it helps. Just rest it and hold it with your finger like that. And now we're going to poke that through. When I have done this with the children, the thing that they get wrong is not pulling it all the way through. So I flipped it over and then I'm going to pull it all the way through and keep it tight like that as you go around so you can see it. And then you just carry on going like that all the way through. You'll see that on the first one, I just caught that first end now, so it's going to go all the way around. And so it's just a traditional pom-pom. There's nothing difficult about doing these. They've been used for years and years and years, this kind of thing, going all the way around. If you find it easier to do it with your fingers rather than a needle, especially to start with, absolutely fine. When you get to the end of your wool, just cut yourself another piece and do it again. Keep going around, keep going around. Now, you're going to think that you've got this bit missing, and you have got that bit missing. You will have that. Sorry, you can let go if you like, director. We have a real cat just joining on the edge of the video there, wanting to come in and see himself on the video. So that was distracting us. Sorry about that. But you carry on going round. You're going to have this middle bit missing. Don't worry about that. You're going to go all the way round and it's fine, you know. So we'll just stop there until I've caught that one up. So keep winding round and round and round until you have nothing in the middle. So you've gone as far as you can. And then you're going to get your scissors in and start cutting. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Now I'm holding with the middle so that it doesn't all come. Now after the first couple of cuts, you've gone, and this is why I've used the white card for you. So you won't be seeing this the same because it's black. But you can see that you can get your scissors then in between the two pieces of card. Director, can you see that when I'm doing it? Excellent. So then you just need to snip all the way around. Now you have got that little V there. Don't worry, that's just going to get lost as we go round. So you need to snip, it'll just come all the way around. So you need to snip, snip, snip all the way around. And you just need to hold. Now, I'm a big fan of a pom-pom maker, actually. I've known lots of people who are going like, why do you need that when you can make things traditionally? It does, I like it. I like my plastic pom-pom maker. But the thing about this one is we've got the head attached and we're not making a pom-pom, we're making a cat. And the cat's already part of it, you know, when you're doing that. You could have used bigger scissors than this or smaller scissors. You can kind of experiment around with what you do. But I've gone all the way round there now. And you've done it like that, and that's creating your pom-pom. But if you leave it like that, it's all going to fall apart. So what you need to do is fasten it together to finish off our last bit of pom-pomming. So that's cut all the way round now. And you need to get another length of thread, and that's going in between. Now you need to be just a little bit careful now so it doesn't fall apart. In between those two bits of card like that. I've got one thread that's still in there. I'm going to snip it. In between that and pull it all the way up. Keep pulling, keep pulling. So your cards are still apart at this time, but you are not going to take them out. If you've made a pom-pom before, as I'm sure lots of you have, don't do the traditional thing because I'm going to show you something different. So we're going to tie that into a knot and tie it super tight like that. Okay, so we're making it as tight as we possibly can. And that is going to form our hanging loop. I actually do find that pom-poms fall apart a little bit after a while, so I do like to give it a double knot just to add that bit of security, especially if you might have a cat chasing things around. But if you do that, you'll notice that you can still see the card. Now that will be less obvious in a black one, but even so you will be able to see a bit of card. And this is where traditionally you would have removed the card, but you're not going to do it now. You're going to get your scissors in and snip a bit off. As long as there's enough card, can you see there? As long as there's enough card for you to still hold it together, you want to get rid of those bits so that they don't get seen. Cut off a bit like that, and that will now be buried inside. And your thing will look like that. Now you need to trim your pom-pom at this stage because it will be all untidy. This is where you absolutely need to be doing it over a table because you need to snip round. To be honest, you could do this forever. I think this is how hairdressers must feel. Snip, 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 because you can keep going, and at some point you just need to decide to stop. But keep snipping it round as neatly as you can. And there we've got our lovely cat. Now, because this one's got itself a white face, it looks a little bit more like my Peggy, but if you had it black like that, what you can do is use a white pen, like I have there, to add a face, or your cat could be in silhouette, just looking if you were going to hang this in a window. The bit that I cut off, I used as a tail, just a little bit of glue, sticking it inside there. Now that's a Halloween cat. If you have a gorgeous little black and white cat like I have, you could also make it like that. Or if you have a big cat who likes to get in on the videos, you could also make one like that. Slight adaptation, and this becomes a snowman as well. Or any other kind of cat. So that's our first Halloween craft. Now that one will go like that, and that's a good one. Our second Halloween craft are these scary spiders. If you have a pine cone left over from when we used them the other week, you just need to get yourself some chenille rods or pipe cleaners, depending on what you want to call them, and just poke them in between. That's all that happens. You just poke it in there and bend them down and then move them around to make them in legs. We had a bit of a discussion, 6 legs, 8 legs. Not a spider expert, you do as many as you like. Now the funny thing about these is of course their eyes. So just look. You need to put your googly eyes on there, and you do need a glue gun for that. They're not going to go on in any way. You could tie a piece of cotton around there to hang those up, or they could be standing around waiting, sitting on your shoulder, sitting on your head like somebody's nightmare, my nightmare. That's what we've got. Now to show you the one where it's a spider web, we've got to use the glue gun. So we're just going to move into the kitchen where the glue gun is, and I'll show you how to do this one. So this is our spider web, and what we need is a glue gun for that and some baking paper. That's all this is. And I've penciled out a web. You can totally freehand this, but you can see it a little bit better. Now with your glue gun, I've warmed it up, and I'm just going to draw it out with this. Now this is the clear glue, which I'm just going to put a little bit on the side there, that you're just going like that, okay, with all those wiggly bits that always come out. But I realise you can't see that, so I'm going to use a red one, even though obviously spider webs are not red, so it will come out a lot clearer. So basically what you do is draw with it. Just do it onto your kitchen paper, and you are just going to draw along. Oh, my glue gun's not quite warm up enough there, just give that a second. You're going to just draw with the glue gun. Now it is a little bit tricky to get the hang of, just using the trigger and keeping it on, but practice makes perfect with this. Oh, my glue gun makes a horrible squeaky noise. I apologise for that. I have actually had this glue gun for quite a long time, and it's making a squeaky noise. But you're just going to go around like that all the way around. And amazingly, when this has dried, it's going to just come off. I didn't know that that was going to happen, but that is exactly what's going to happen. It will just come off, and it will end up looking like this. It just peels off. If I go back to the first one that I did now, you can see it's just peeled off. All these long bits that usually annoy you can actually be used in a web when you're doing that. It's a button. Oh, sorry. It's a button with a couple of eyes and some pipe cleaner legs. And that's what you get, ready to hang up beautifully, all ready for Halloween. We may come back to the glue gun thing at another time of year. See you soon. Bye.